I definitely believe in like a subconscious way of making our bodies do things or like acting out things that like I definitely believe in self-fulfilling prophecies and what we tell ourselves we kind of start to become, but I definitely think that there's a limit to it too, like if like the universe doesn't just care about Cory Sandhagen, like the universe wants Rampage to have success and Bear to have success, and it wants all of those things too. But I mean, and I also believe that what you believe is your reality tunnel, and that is what you're going to see more of and all of that stuff. But I just can't really get on board with that. My dreams and my things are more important than your dreams and your things, or your things and your things. So when it comes to like when I went to fight Umar, like I was saying, man, I overcame so many things in my head, so many doubts, so many things like that I got over, dude. And it took a lot of work to get over those things because he was the Dagestani who was the amazing wrestler, next prodigy, Khabib's cousin, blah, blah, blah. I had to overcome a lot of those like narratives in my head, those things that you were talking about that were in the back of my head. I didn't get the win, but I did a lot better than I would have done had I not overcome a lot of those things. So I go into every fight. I've never thought that I was going to lose any fight ever. I have like I kind of have these beliefs in my head where I think that we have emotions and feelings and things that lurk in the back of our heads. And if we don't bring them to light and address them, bad things happen. And I go way far out of my way inside my camps during fight week, all of that stuff to bring all of those things to the surface, which takes a lot of time and a lot of really, really hard work, and then address them. And, I did that for this fight, and it was definitely the hardest that I've ever had to do that for it, and I did it, So I'm proud of myself for that. I didn't for a second think that I was going to lose that fight. Even into the 5th round, it was like, hey, I know that I'm losing, but like, what am I going to do? Started going for submissions. Like, I never for a second thought that I was going to lose that fight. Never for a second did I have like a bitch in my head telling me that, hey, like, just give up. That, like, never for a second. And I didn't get what I wanted. And that hurts, but I don't know that it was because like my powers weren't as strong as his powers, like our like spiritual powers or whatever,
Have you ever heard of impose your will, like when it comes to fighting and stuff like that? Like, have you ever heard the commentator say, oh, he's imposing his will and stuff? So this is my personal opinion. I feel like when you're fighting, it's not only physical, but whoever has the stronger will to win. So it's
that's a giant piece of fighting. You see it more on like the local level than you see it at like the level that we're at, because we all have very high wills to win at our level, but in the local level, it's not. It's like someone could want to win this much the other. And so you really, really see it where you'll see a guy who's very, very skilled lose just because he doesn't have that skill yet, But I do think that that's something that we all build. And I do believe that at a certain point, we all are operating on like a equal platform,
Yeah. So did you ever used to watch Pride back in the day?
Yeah.
You know Gilbert Evell? Do you remember him?
Yeah. Yep.
So he used to train with Alistair Overeem. That guy, we all used to talk about this. We never said it to his face, but that guy was like very talented to be fighting in Pride and stuff like that. He was really good. I don't know how good his ground game was, but he was a very talented fighter. But we just felt like he didn't have the will to win. So you get two guys match up that they're like equally like technical and like that, equal fighters. Then it's boiled down to whose will to win is stronger. And I didn't always understand that, and it could be my opinion.
So I use different words, but I do think that there is, like, everyone wants to be a world champ and say that with their words, but not everyone wants to like live that in their heart. And I do think that like that's why when I get asked like, hey, what advice do you have for a new fighter? Like, hey, why do you do so well? Like, the only answer is because I love it more than other people. Like, I really think that that's like the only answer. I love training. I love performing now. I love all that shit except for the social media shit. And when I mean, I see it all the time in fighters. Like, I'm like, hey man, like, what do you, how far you want to take this? And they'll say something, like, hey, I want to be world champ. But in my head, I'm like, I know you don't love this as much as, someone that's going to be a world champ. You just don't. You're not here enough. Like that's one sign, but there's a lot of other signs that you see where you're just like, this dude don't love it. You know what I mean? And that's okay. Like you can chase some dream that isn't made for you. And you got to listen to your heart, and people aren't very honest with themselves. And that's kind of a shame because they can't look at themselves in the mirror. And maybe I think that we as people are all like trying to attach ourselves to some identity, and fighter identity is like a cool one, especially now, where before when I started, and like, I'm sure back when you started, it was kind of like a nerdy, weird thing to do martial arts. Right. And yeah, so maybe that guy, it's like his will, but maybe he doesn't want to go that far because he
maybe just doing it for the money. We don't
a lot of reasons. But also, here's something that people I think also don't think about. And I kind of like had this moment when I was bringing up a lot of those emotions inside me and bringing them to the surface is winning is cool, or losing is like a piece of it or whatever. Losing, your life suffers less when you lose. When you win, you go on to fight better guys. You get more exposure. Your life changes a lot more when you win versus when you lose. Kind of. Like, obviously, if you lose and you lose your career, that's a big deal, but that's typically not the case. But when you win, man, your life changes more. So, like, wanting that is one of those subconscious pieces where it's like, man, do I even want to win? Like, because my life is about to get maybe kind of chaotic and unknown if I do go win.